One of the things that I've always kind of thought about over and over again in different aspects of it when it comes to this art stuff is basically your art and how it kind of relates to you as a person. And not just me, but any artist out there, and how their art is one thing, and then them as a person is a whole other entity. And me personally, I always kind of had the outlook that I only wanted to be judged for my actual art, for better or for worse. And I've kind of said this in another video, and I still feel this way. I really, in my mind, in a perfect world, I would only be, you wouldn't know me at all. You would just see my art and take it or leave it. There's nothing else to help me or hurt me based on who I am, right? It's just the art as it is. And part of why I've always thought that is, well, one, that's just how, for one, I think it's just fair. I mean, it's not realistic. We know that. Like, your personality is tied to you, and you are the person who made the art, right? It's even if you're hiding in a cave somewhere, and if your name's attached to it, we're gonna know that's you, right? But I just think the other thing is, some percentage of people will naturally not like you. That's just undeniable. There's no one in the world who everyone loves. There just isn't. Somebody, no matter what, you're going to be hated or disliked, or just not even that, just people don't agree with you, on and on. We go on and on about that. But so my thought on that was always, I'd rather just not even put myself out there, because, well, one, I just don't want to. I didn't get into this to put myself out there or anything like that. I or have my opinions known or anything like that. I just wanted to, make art and hopefully make a living from it, basically. And with that, you have to put your art out there. But then come things like, interviews, YouTube videos, and it just makes you think, like, does it matter? Do you have to have here? This was kind of my original thought. So often, because it kind of keeps coming up, people will say, and again, this isn't about me. I'm just kind of thinking about this in general when it comes to artists and who they are, because it's something that kind of interests me. Obviously, as humans, we're interested in people. You can't, like, there's just, we're not robots. There's no getting around that. No matter what, art is tied to a person. So people are going to be curious, but more than that, people, it's almost like, not almost, it seems extremely common that people want, well, artists who make good art, people tend to assign good things to, they just assume they're good people. Or they want to believe that they're good people. Or they want to believe they're, I don't know, they're more than human, or they're better than what they really are. Or not even that. people, they want to know that you're nice, or they want to know that you're likable, or they want to know that you're a good person. And that's always kind of, I get it on one hand, but it's always made me wonder. Partially because, well, I am an artist, so it crosses my mind. And so you just wonder, like, does that even matter? Why does that matter? And maybe it doesn't. I even think, well, it makes me wonder how many people, I'll just say this, I feel like, call me crazy, but I think that there are even artists out there, or whatever, creators of all different types, who will they will construct this whole personality and mold it to be a certain way so that they are as liked as possible, or they'll fit into the industry they're trying to get in. They'll do anything to, because it goes back to what I was saying. It makes you think, if you had to just rely on your actual creations, well, how different would things be, for better or for worse? Some people, imagine you acquire these skills over time and you become this brilliant, whatever, singer or author or whatever. And then eventually one day people kind of deem you as, you are bad as a person. And now after all that work, people stop buying your books. People, whatever, they talk bad about you. You're thought of it. It's become accepted now. Oh, that person's bad. We can't, they're not good anymore. And some people will pretend. They'll pretend that that person is no longer good. Where, well, how do you think we even know their name? They were probably pretty good to get their name known. You know what I mean? It was tied to their work. So you're kind of lying. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, but clearly some people enjoyed what they did. I've even had it personally myself, where I've encountered people, other artists, other writers, whatever, and they'll even tell me, oh yeah, don't work with that guy. You don't want to work with that. I'll just be like, why? This is out of the blue. All I know is their work. I don't really know them. And a lot of times they won't even tell you. It's just people, it can happen. People can be secretly almost blacklisted. And that's scary. What's that about? Me personally, I don't put any weight into that. I don't even care who's telling me that. I'll figure it out for myself. Like, and again, let's go back to the does it matter thing. I guess it's kind of case by case, right? Like, it does, for you to like someone's work, well, so much of it is opinion based from the start. So, like, not much of this is like fact based or evidence based or whatever you want to say. So if someone is also, I don't know, they're not likable, or they're like, it could even come down to that. Just they're an asshole or whatever. They're a jerk. They're not charismatic. They're not likable. They're not friendly. They're not. It just, I don't know, it makes you wonder, why does that matter? I get it. We want people to be nice. It's not good. it's it's pretty obvious. It's not good to be a bad person, right? But then again, does that really matter? I don't know. Like, I guess it's kind of case by case. But one thing I've even heard, and probably most people who have tried to break into comics have heard this. It's one of the like staple pieces of advice. They always say you want to be two of three things. You want to be really good, really fast, or really nice. So it's even right there right in your face. You're pretty much being told you almost have to be the right type of person. And it just, I don't know, that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way, almost. Like, and not that I even am afraid of, like, I'm an asshole or whatever, but, well, this is kind of a two-part thing, but why does that matter? Shouldn't it be, when that really comes down to it, I mean, yeah, I get it. Yeah, you should be pleasant to deal with. You should be polite and just considerate of others, and just basic human interactions should be smooth enough. But why? So you're telling me that someone can just sort of, they can be charismatic and nice, and you guys all agree on the same stuff, and you have the same interests, and you can be really fast, and that's good enough. Why is that? I don't know. That always just kind of seemed odd to me. And you can also think about like conventions, like artists go to conventions, and obviously this is it's a people thing, really. I mean, yes, of course your work is kind of at the forefront of it, but really it's a bunch of people all together. And what if you're just in a bad mood that day, and people like the right person, I was kind of talking about it, it's talking about how things can happen in your art career, little whatever opportunities come along, and it might be meeting the right person at the right time. And what if you were kind of an asshole that day? Like, just you fully were an asshole. Why does that matter? Maybe, and you might go, wait, what are you talking about? You can't be an asshole. But it's like, okay, so you've never been an asshole? We all have. And this isn't even, you might be wondering what spawned this thought or this whole topic, but it's been, nothing recent happened. It just kind of, this has always been a thing I've thought about, that it doesn't really get discussed too much, that, and maybe it's not as big a deal as I think, but I question that sometimes. Like, I'm not going to bring up a specific example, but like, especially when things get exchanged online. Like, it's one thing when it's in person, you can kind of, obviously people can lie, they can act like everything's all cool and whatever, and pretend to be friendly. Let's just say in emails, like, I'm thinking of something recent, but I'm not going to say what it is because, and, what if you, well, for one thing, when you're writing, a lot of times tone gets lost, and people don't really, especially if someone hasn't met you before, they don't really know you, and you're doing some sort of business email or some kind of whatever, and they just kind of, based on what you're saying, you can be thought of as, oh, this guy's too difficult to work with. He's kind of a jerk. He's kind of an asshole, or he's too this, he's too that. Oh, I don't like how he said that. I'm not going to hire him now for the next thing. You know? Well, why? And I'm not even saying that's a real thing, but I'm sure it happens. Because at the end of the day, people are just people. Artists are just people. People that work at companies, they're just... I used to... You will probably laugh at this, but when I was really, really young... I mean, I don't know. Young is relative, but... Whatever, when I was first trying to do this stuff, 20, 21, 22, whatever, I stupidly somewhat thought, without knowing any better, oh, some of these people at these companies, they're, you know, well, they were like hiring people, and these are like real grown-ups, right? They're going to be fair. They're going to be, it's all above board. It's all no fun and games as far as, no, they're people. If they just don't like you, they can just not hire you. Or if you say the wrong thing, or, oh, I don't like the way you said that, or, oh, this guy's kind of a jerk, or, no, I'm not going to hire him. Or, you know, it's like one strike, you're out. And I don't know. It just, like I said, I think at the end of the day, it's pretty much, as I was saying, like, people go to conventions, and a lot of times they like hang out, they go to dinners, they go, I typically avoid all that stuff, mainly because of all what I'm saying, and also I have no interest. I'd rather not waste my energy on that. It's already draining enough. For me, it's like the show is the thing. You have all day to socialize with me there. I don't know why I have to go to the bar, or I have to, but anyway, the point is, what if you're checking all the boxes? It's like you have to be perfect almost. You have to you cannot have a flaw. You can't. It can almost seem that way, where it's like you could be, and this isn't me, I'm just saying in general, you can have, you know, you can be brilliantly skilled, you can be quick, professional, you can be top selling, but then if you're an asshole, or if you're too weird, or you don't watch the right movies, like you're just the wrong person, it's all of a sudden you're the odd man out. And again, this isn't me. I'm just painting a scenario that it just makes you think, like, that can be your downfall. You can do everything right, but then and like I was saying, I think some people just even fake it. And I'm not doing that. It's like, if I'm not good enough as a person, well, then I'm not good enough. Like, if my art is not, you know, and I've said this before too, like, people hire friends. Like, who's to say that people won't befriend people just to get the job they want, and I think that's ridiculous. That, you know, it should be based on how good or bad you are. Like, I don't know. It's just, I just kind of hate that. Obviously, if you're a horrible person, but then again, I don't know. Maybe you can be a horrible person if you're. Maybe that's insane to say, but if you're really good at what you do, and you're not affecting people with your horribleness, you work from home, or you have some office somewhere, and people don't really know you. Really, they just see the work, comes in on time, sells great. Hey, I guess it doesn't matter. But at that point, you're just hiding. You know what I mean? I don't even know if this is making sense. This is kind of a weird one, but it's always been a thought that, who knows, maybe this matters more than anything. More than your speed, more than your level of optimism. It might mean more that you're just likable, or, you know what I mean? What do you think? What do you make of this? Am I way off on this? Should who you are as a person really affect your art and that kind of stuff? I don't know. I'm kind of undecided on it, because part of me thinks, well, your art should be just your art. Can you separate the art from the artist, basically? I don't know. I guess it's case by case, but just something to think about, especially if you're coming into whatever, the comic book industry or video game industry or whatever it is. You might be thinking, okay, what do I have to do? How can I make it? I'll get good, I'll do this, I'll do that, and then you're just like, you don't fit in. You're the weird one amongst the weirdos. And you're thought of as that. You're thought of as, we don't really want to hire Tim because he doesn't really fit in with us at the bar. And yeah. All right.